This is James' Riady case study being presented to you by Table 2, Zoe Cater, Brandy Dua, and Mngt1001. James Riady is a Chinese-Indonesian born in 1957 in Jakarta, and also the son of Macho Riady, who founded the Lipo Group. James Riady is the deputy chairman of the Lipo Group. He is such a visionary and charismatic business leader. Lipo Group was founded in 1950 and is a real estate development company located in Indonesia, and it has a collective presence across Asia and North America. The company is a public joint stock company, operates internationally, provides property development and management services, and contains many sub-divisions, including telecommunications, financial service, retail and medical service, and infrastructure projects. The Lipo Group today employs over 35,000 employees across Asia, with diversity business interests controlled by various members of one family. The Lipo Group is known for various large-scale projects such as Lipo Village. However, everyone makes mistakes, and James Riady is no exception. He was fined $8.6 million for providing foreign funds for Democratic Party in the 1996 presidential campaign, and this was the largest penalty in the history of U.S. political campaign offenses. For this reason, he was banned from entering the United States for life. Lipo ceded the control of Lipo Bank to Government of Malaysia in 2005. Since its conversion to evangelical Christianity, James is now focusing on the study of theology. In fact, it was another his controversial issue because he often shared his religious philosophy with his staff and students, but never allowed anyone to cast doubt his ascetical standard.
So the broad issues and problems that we've identified include ethical behaviour and social responsibility in Chapter 5, social welfare in Chapter 5, environment and diversity with international dimensions of management in Chapters 3 and 4, strategic management in Chapter 9, leadership in Chapter 13, communication and interpersonal skills in Chapter 14, leading and managing change in Chapter 18, religious beliefs in Chapter 5, and power in Chapter 13.
Ethical objectives are targets based on a moral code, ethical code for business. For example, doing the right things. The growing acceptance of corporate social responsibility has led to business adopting an ethical code to influence the way in which decisions are taken. The objectives in Lipo Group is to set an ethical code, a document detailing a company's rules and guidance on staff behavior that must be followed by all employees. Ethical behavior and social responsibility are issues that are not recognized by the public. James Riady's life was very tarnished by the corruption and money laundering scandal. It was also a moral issue of President Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton, and it was also a stamp on them. Thus, this series of problems is a wake-up call for the society. Ethical behavior is that which is accepted to be right, good, and proper as opposite to bad, wrong, or improper in the context of the governing moral code. The following things that James Riady did are absolutely illegal, bad, incorrect, not consistent with the general value of society, and damaging the interest of the public. James Riady used his own religious and moral ethical standards for decision-making and leadership in the direction of his work. This is absolutely a serious moral problem because he only cares about the things he thought is right rather than the government and most people think is right. He's involved in the 1996 Democratic presidential election is a case in point. This behavior is totally illegal and is not in the interest of the most public, nor is in the interest of the Lipo Group. He had to pay for his mistakes. He was fined $8.6 million and could no longer step into U.S. territory. However, in 2009, when Clinton was the Secretary of State, he was re-allowed to return to the United States. That makes him controversial again. On the other hand, James Riady has a sense of cultural superiority. His sense of superiority referred to his belief that his religion is superior to that of others. This is reflected in his cannot tolerate others' questioning of his religious beliefs. All about James Riady's actions have clearly gone beyond moral standards, and he has done these things just to satisfy his personal interest. This is clearly against utilitarian view. The utilitarian view considers ethical behavior as that which delivers the greatest good to the greatest number of people, not for personal gain. In this process, the interests of the public are violated, which is unfair to other presidential candidates and not just view. This undermines basic human rights.
The objective for leadership is to identify key issues of leadership and adapt leadership styles to different situations and across various aspects of the business, which includes across countries and cultures. The second key issue that we will be discussing is leadership. What is leadership? Effective leadership is creating an environment in which others can perform tasks at their very best. Leadership is one of 4 important tools of the management process, which include planning the direction, organising the plan into action, leading the vision with enthusiasm and inspiration, and controlling measurable results. James Riady is one of Indonesia's most recognised business leaders, and through his leadership, he is responsible for the progression of the Lippo Group. James Riady prides himself on 2 examples of leadership that he's had in his life. 1, his father, and 2, banker Jack Stevens. Through an early age, James Riady learnt the understanding of value and value creation. He is categorised as a transformational leader, described as visionary and charismatic. James Riady believes there are 3 things that make a great leader: vision, humility, and the ability to serve. James Riady sets moral standards and incorporates them in his leadership, using faith as a moral compass. He believes he owes his success to hard work and sensible management. James Riady describes his leadership through perfection, the right direction, the right motivation, and inspiring his employees to do more. He also displays aspects of transactional style leadership, keeping his employees focused to accomplish tasks with little room for failure. He is described as both task and people-orientated, highly structured, and effectively controlled, especially when it comes to his goals. His leadership relates to the Hursley-Blanchard situational leadership model, which suggests leaders adjust their style depending on their followers, based on their willingness and ability to perform the required tasks. James Riady is said to have a participatory approach with his leadership as a philanthropist, building relationships within the community and others. James Riady believes that he creates value, which is to bless society and become a blessing to the communities through sharing his faith. Another contingency leadership theory developed by Robert House is the path goal theory, which advises managers to use leadership styles that complement situational needs, that clarifies paths where followers can achieve task-related and personal goals. James Riady has displayed achievement-orientated leadership and supportive leadership while still being directive. In support of this, James Riady says, "I made a lot of mistakes and lost a lot of confidence, but through all the mistakes, I learnt the most valuable lessons of my life. I learnt a lot of discipline." James Riady's leadership style has changed over time as a result, choosing to focus on personal power rather than positional power, focusing on social causes, welfare problems, and education.
The objective associated with the key issue of environment and diversity is to adjust the organisation's operations to better suit its external environment for optimal outcomes and to employ leaders and/or managers from outside the family for a more diverse organisation. Diversity describes the differences among people at work such as age, race, ethnicity, gender, etc. R. Roosevelt Thomas Jr. says that diversity includes everyone. He also links diversity and organizational culture and says diversity is a potential source of competitive advantage. Riady's company lacks diversity in a sense because it is a family-run business, but this gives the company strong organizational culture, which Egder Schein defined as a system of shared beliefs and values that develops within an organization and guides the behavior of its members. Riady's external environment also has him facing challenges with regard to diversity, as multicultural Indonesia is not enthusiastic about Chinese business people. Roosevelt developed a three-step approach to managing diversity, with the first step being affirmative action, the second is valuing differences, and the third, managing diversity. A diverse workforce offers a rich pool of talents, and diversity mature maintain a successful organization. When considering the environment of an organization, both the internal and external environments of an organization need to be taken into account. To maintain a competitive advantage, it is crucial to be alert to environmental trends and to adjust the operations of the organization accordingly. This requires continual scanning of the environment for opportunities and taking effective action based upon what is learned. The external environment consists of all the background conditions in the external environment of an organization. The conditions of the external environment that impact upon Riady are socio-cultural and political-legal. Socio-cultural conditions include the general state of social values on matters such as human rights, trends in education and other social institutions, and demographic patterns. This applies to Riady as he and his family manage the largest private education foundation in Southeast Asia, the Pelita Harapan Education Foundation, which has approximately 40,000 students, funds local schools, and comprises of a teacher training college. This becomes an issue for Riady as he has faced protests from Muslim groups as they are under the assumption that the education programs are attempting to evangelize Indonesians. Political legal conditions include law and government regulations and the general state of the prevailing philosophy and objectives of the political party or parties running the government. This poses an issue for Riady as LiPo has had to transition into Indonesia's more democratic and open society, and this has challenged LiPo because many believe the organisation prospered due to its close relations with former President Suharto. The internal environment is the organisation itself and the groups and/or people who the organisation interacts and conducts business with, that is, the stakeholders. The main group affected by Riady's performance is the Pelita Harapan Education Foundation. As stated previously, the foundation provides funding to local schools, and if Riady did not maintain his success and peak performance, he would be less able to contribute sufficient funding.
The objective of ethical behavior and social responsibility is to implement a proactive strategy, ensure that employees of all levels of the LiPo group participate in ethics training, and develop a comprehensive code of ethics. This can reduce corruption within the labor group and improve organizational efficiency. In the short term, task is to disciplinary action for unethical behavior. Resource required. Some punitive measures such as fines or public questions. Even fire employees. Barriers to success cause employee dissatisfaction and panic. Evidence of success. Employees and managers become more ethical when making decisions. Time taken 1 to 3 months. In the midterm, task is to reward for ethical behavior. Resource required. Spend money and time to buy rewards and improve incentives. Barrier to success. Increase the cost of the company. Evidence of success. The moral environment of the whole organization can be improved. Time taken 3 to 12 months. In the long term, task is to make managers role model. Resources requires several moral role models. Barrier to success. Managers need to be chosen with care and due consideration. Evidence of success. Employees tend to emulate their managers, improve the moral atmosphere of the organization. Time taken 1 to 5 years.
We have created an action plan for leadership. The first part of this plan is a short-term plan with a deadline of 1 to 3 months, with the responsibility on management to identify leadership obstacles using external consultants for a critical and objective perspective for leadership analysis. The second part of this plan is a medium-term plan with a deadline of 3 to 12 months, with the responsibility on management to implement management training and team building events. This is using internal resources with the training and development. The last part of the plan is a long-term plan with a deadline of 1 to 5 years, with the responsibility on all staff, with the task of ongoing training for all staff using internal resources, with in-house development and progression plans, and for the company to provide learning programs for staff.
The action plan for environment and diversity is comprised of 3 goals. 1, a short term, which is 1 to 3 months, a medium-term goal, which has a length of 3 to 12 months, and a long-term goal, which has a length of 1 to 5 years. The responsibility of the short-term goal falls with the management. The task is to identify opportunities in the external environment and to identify opportunities for diversity. The resources required is staff to compile research on the external environment in Indonesia. The deadline for this is 3 months. The medium-term goal falls also with management. The task is to adapt the organization's operations to better suit its external environment. The resources required are an external consultant to assist Riady to incorporate beliefs consistent with both Christian and Muslim faiths. The deadline for this is within 6 months. The long-term goal's responsibility again falls with management. The task is to create diversity in the top management positions of the organization. The resources required are the internal managers to seek external suitable individuals with experience to fulfill positions. The deadline for this is 1 to 5 years.